Hey, this is how you can do a hook in arm wrestling. The hook is an inside movement, meaning you're mainly attacking the other person's elbow flexion and their side pressure. This is how you do it. For any arm wrestling technique, there is the side setup and then there is the execution. We're going to talk about the execution first because that is easier to understand. Once the referee has said go, there's a number of things that you need to do all at once. You need to cup your wrist. This is the most important part. If you're unable to cup your wrist, don't do the hook against that opponent. Use a different move. Once you have cupped or you are able to maintain most of your cup, the second thing you need to do is you need to drag back using your back muscles. And the third thing is you need to bring your shoulder forward. If you do all three of these things, or for the most part, if you're at least able to maintain your cup, you will be able to stay in the match. And if you are able to execute all of these things successfully, you will be in a great position to win. Now that is the execution. Let's talk about the setup. Before the referee says go, the number one thing that you need to gain in the setup is depth. By depth, I mean you need to be covering your opponent's hand as much as possible, such that you cannot allow them to pronate through your hand or open your wrist. If they've opened your wrist, you're not doing a hook anymore. So, in order to maintain your cup, which is the most important part of the hook, you need to gain as much depth as possible. Now, you can gain depth by sacrificing height. The difference between depth and height is that, imagine this is the opponent's hand and this is my hand and we are gripped like this. Me gaining height would be either through my elbow flexion like this or through my hand. This is gaining height if I'm going over their fingers. Me gaining depth would be I go this way, such that I'm covering most of the opponent's hand. Now, since depth is more important than height in a hook, you need to sacrifice some height in order to gain depth. You do that by sacrificing your height through your elbow flexion. That is, the starting point of the hook is going to be like this. You need to sacrifice height through your elbow flexion while keeping your hand high. You're not lowering your hand. You keep your hand high, but you give away height through your elbow flexion, which is you do this. Now once you're here, you can grab the opponent's hand, and also you want to gain depth. So your hand needs to be as high up on their hand as possible. The more you're covering your opponent's hand, the better. Now once the match starts, you will be in a much better position to cup your wrist or give away your pronation to gain even more depth. You can gain that extra depth by giving away pronation, and you can do that by what you did earlier, which is you gave away your elbow flexion. So you need to gain as much depth as possible, and height does not matter as much in the hook as it does in other moves such as the top roll. However, the height of the hand still matters. You're giving away the depth of the elbow flexion. So if you gain as much depth as possible and then you execute the hook as described before, you will be in a good position to win the match.